All right, coming to you live tonight, actually from Michigan. Got my wires all mixed up here. Yeah, coming to you live from a hotel in the Detroit area. So let's take a look at the Twitter threads. Maybe I'll start before I even get into what's bizarre in my Twitter thread tonight. I guess I'll talk about a post I made on Twitter just a few days ago. Actually, no, yesterday. Can't keep track of time. It's been a really busy week. My wife graduated from UCLA, and now I had to fly out here because I'm in the process, inshallah, of helping my parents relocate to Southern California to live with us. But speaking of graduating from UCLA, so yesterday we had a little fiasco, and I threw something up on Twitter in which I was singled out. Myself and my daughter were singled out and given difficulty to enter into the graduation ceremony at UCLA. And I was given a number of reasons why. They said my camera was too big or this or that, even though there were several gentlemen in line, some Caucasian, some Asian, some maybe crypto-Caucasian, if you know what I'm talking about, that had cameras of the equal size and build as my own. And they were allowed to go in unmolested. And even I saw one gentleman told me in security that I could not I could not have a tripod, even though I saw a guy carrying a tripod in. So that's what my little Twitter rant was yesterday. Let's see. I'm going to take a look at, I want to take a look at, so Twitter, the way it does it, it's like you have your For You, which I think that what it thinks is what you want to be interested, and then I'll take a look at who I'm following. So let's start with For You. I see a lot of overestimating of Israel's military. So I did this thread on IDF's current future. In my humble opinion, Israel isn't weak, but it has nowhere near the capacity required in troops and kit for a genuine regional war. They won't take Cairo or Istanbul or Tehran. This league isn't ready for the attention it's getting thanks to Caitlin Clark. Crying like this after a regular season loss, emotional, weird, people don't like it. My rent, $2,400 a month. This is not the same as a $2,400 mortgage. So the next time someone tells me I'm throwing away money and should buy a house and build equity, I'll be sure to remind them of all the hidden costs of being a homeowner. Holding on to hot coals. Around 30 people perished from immediate blast trauma and acute radiation syndrome in the seconds to months following the Chernobyl disaster in 1986. 8 months after the nuclear accident, workers made a startling discovery. What's the first thing you do in a hotel room? interesting question because I'm in a hotel room right now. You'll never meet someone as annoying as an Iranian ex-Muslim. That's interesting. So, my Uber driver from the airport today, whose real name is Ali, but apparently, according to him, you can never really... I don't know how much you can really trust these guys, but according to Ali, he, after coming to America, has changed his name, allegedly, right, to a Western name. So on the ride, he was curious. He's like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I said, "Well, actually, I'm from here. I'm coming back into town to see my parents. I grew up here." He's like, "Oh, you look like maybe you are from the Middle East." I said, "No, not from the Middle East." But I figured, what the heck? I said, "But I am Muslim." Not that that's necessarily, the same thing as Middle Eastern, but I figured since he was fishing, so I said, "I am Muslim, though." "Oh, really?" I said, Yeah. I said, "I've been Muslim since I was 18 years old." And so he proceeded he said, to ask me all the perfunctory questions. "Oh, you don't drink alcohol?" "No." "You don't have a girlfriend?" "No, I'm married." "I'm a Muslim, but I drink and I like to have fun with girls." And okay, man, as long as you take me to my destination where I want to go. And then he began to go on a tangent about the Shah and a number of other things. So, I can't say, perhaps if I had grown up in Iran and grown up in an environment where religion was mandated for you in the way that it appears to be mandated under the regime since the Islamic Revolution, who knows? Maybe I'd have a totally different attitude. But anyway, he just wanted to repeat to me several times that he drank. One of the biggest hits to me when I left corporate life was I had been there almost 20 years, and I thought they would be shocked, but no one really even cared. Like in high school, you think the quarterback is the most important person in school, and then you realize a few years later, no one gives a crap. Same can be said of corporate America. Everyone looks up to the VPs, the executives, the CEO like they're some mystical Greek god. My oldest daughter recently graduated high school, and the guest speaker was a former NFL player. During the speech, he asked, quote, "Who is the CEO of Universal Studios? Who is the CEO of this company and that company?" End quote, as he spouted off the names of some other very large companies. He then said, quote, "None of you know, and nobody really cares outside of those working for that person. Go to work or go to college, work hard, but then start your own company. Your family and close friends are all that will matter in the long run." End quote. The grandson of the founders of the company I was at was fired shortly after I left. His last name was on my paycheck. The place didn't even skip a beat. The stock continues to trade. The company continues to run. We are all just gears in the machine. What are the best podcasts you've listened to lately? Middle Ground Podcasts. Good. Follow Frankly Speaking Arab News flagship weekly current affairs talk show, now back with season 8 with leading policymakers and business leaders as guests. Don't miss out. This might be the most important tweet of this account. Here Sheikh Al-Shahid Ramadan Al-Bulti is teaching the adab, manners, of how to make dua, to supplicate or to pray, by recalling the dua of Zakaria alayhi salam. New. Bikini barista takes out a hammer on a customer's car after he threw his drinks on her in South Seattle. The incident happened at Taste of Heaven Espresso in Seattle, which is owned by 23-year-old Emma Lee. The argument happened after the man started complaining. It happened after the man started complaining about the $22 price tag on his 32-ounce coffee and 24-ounce water. Lee spoke about the incident on Instagram. Women work alone in this industry, wearing nearly nothing and interacting with men, most of which we don't know all day. The majority of people we meet throughout our shifts are kind, respectful, overall amazing humans. However, on occasion, we see the ones that think it's appropriate to get violent, both verbally and physically. This wasn't the first time being aggressive, but it is the first time he's ever gotten physically violent with me. He had gotten what he had paid for and was mad about the price. Man. Wow. Obama made slavery great again in Libya and won the Peace Prize. Alfred Nobel literally spent his whole life selling weapons. He made the Nobel Prizes only after he read a premature biography of himself and wanted to fix his image. Vile people responsible for the deaths of millions, such as Henry Kissinger, have won the Peace Prize. Prizes are a political tool and usually mean nothing. I heard someone claim that snitching isn't allowed in Islam. Gossiping about and falsely accusing another Muslim isn't allowed. One of the tenets of Islam is that you obey the laws of the land that you're in. If the land you're in doesn't allow you to commit crimes and you're about to commit a crime, and I'm aware of it, Muslim or not, I'm reporting you. Were women more attractive before tattoos and piercings became popular? Bosnian Serb separatist leader Milorad Dodik tells the Jerusalem Post, "There has never been a peaceful coexistence between Palestinians and Jews in the same way that coexistence is not possible here in Bosnia and Herzegovina between Muslims and Serbs." Interesting that he labels them Muslims and themselves Serbs, as if Muslims are a ethnic group. For me, Fajr Salah begins when the time commences in Mecca. There ain't two Fajr Salah. Fajr Salah is when the Imam leads in Mecca. We need to unite the Ummah. I don't get this leadership of Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India. The mainstream media tries to tell you what you think. The flyover just delivers the facts. Today we visited the mosque and tomb of the companion of the Prophet ﷺ, Uqba ibn Amir. For centuries, his descendants had the honor of leading the Egyptian Hajj caravan, which carried the new kiswa, covering over the Kaaba that's made of black cloth, and departed from the shrine. Also in a deep red state, this man was 53 years old. They loved going after boomers. The ATF assassinated another American. Gathering for the recital of Dala'il al-Khayrat. Sha'ala Asr Salah, 7 p.m. UK time, we will be holding a reading of Dala'il al-Khayrat, a poem, in the presence of scholars such as Mufti Shabir Ahmed Sahib and Mufti Abdul Samad Sahib. Goldstein, the other white meat, they're not even hiding it. They hate you. Yes, diversity is about getting rid of white people, and that's a good thing. Israel is not surviving this, will never have a peaceful day, and will probably not survive Netanyahu, who is probably, in my estimation, its last prime minister. It is hard to see this from the outside, but Israel is not strong. It is a bluff maintained by Hollywood and air power. Both will not help this time around. In boxing terms, October 7th was one, but two, a much mightier right hand is coming, and it's going to be KD and KO. Remember, unlike Palestinian and Lebanese Israelis, we are not fighting for survival and dignity. We are fighting for privilege and superiority. And unlike Middle Eastern natives, they have to be supported 24/7, 365 by the international community of white, genocidal, Judeo-Christian psychopaths. Israelis do not speak Arabic, have no genuine connection to the Middle East, are hated everywhere, do not know how to live off the land, and cannot survive without strong central management, which is already only held in place thanks to non-stop Western support. A huge economic crash is headed the U.S. way, or a major confrontation with Russia, China, or all the above. In that scenario, it will not even be able to assist Israel in a meaningful way, and neither will Europe be able to do so. The writing's on the wall for this project. Israel's strategic choice of supremacy and savagery is leading to its assured demise. Nukes will be of no help. By the way, they can destroy entire regions, but they can't maintain an unsustainable colonial enterprise whose population is broken, fatigued, and bitterly conflicted internally, and are being hated more fiercely by their neighbors and the global community every day. The West's control over money and media is winding down as well. In another decade, most of us will be consuming and creating content on non-Western platforms. Israel may have been saved 30 or maybe even 20 years ago. It cannot be saved anymore. If I were leader of the Jews, what I would mostly be doing right now is seeking a safe way out for Jewish Israelis without any further bloodshed. But no one is taking a constructive and peaceful path, and so a major catastrophic collapse will have to materialize, after which Israelis will not be welcome anywhere and could be beyond saving. Now, let's see. From people I follow, see what's going on. Why this researcher thinks the next pandemic may be Nipah developed by China. Physician scientist discusses China's risky research, how samples from Canada may be used, and potential detrimental consequences. Breaking news. The Israeli occupation forces assault worshippers at Bab al-Silsala, one of the doors of Al-Aqsa Mosque, before Eid al-Adha prayer. A man is not responsible for his father's sins or debts. To say so would be saying you are a proponent for the propagation and normalcy of slavery and servitude. The idea that a man is responsible for the debts or sins of the father is the acceptance and promotion of slavery. From DJ Ransom, the Freedomist. This is the Rochester shooter information. Effing coward scum should have taken himself out to begin with, not ended that way. It's interesting, I was on the plane and the lady sitting right next to me, we had a interesting but brief conversation. So we were both terrified of flying, and so we were kind of having a laugh at the end about how both of us were like gripping our chairs and white knuckled. And so she asked if I live here, and I said no, I grew up here, but I live in Southern California now. She's like, oh, I grew up in Anaheim, but I now live here. And she said that she was concerned because she just found out about a shooting in Rochester. So there it is. Probably my phone listening to me. Uh, it's every day now. Rochester Hills, Michigan mass shooting at kids' splash park. Gunman came out of vehicle, opened fire, reloaded, fired again. At least 28 shots fired. Gunman left the scene. 8 to 10 victims possible. Gunman believed to be hiding home, working on getting a search warrant. Putin. The Western elites have been stuffing their bellies with human flesh for centuries. Did he really say that? Can someone who speaks Russian confirm? Because it's true, you know. Alright, well, Eidakum Mubarak Sa'id. Gonna shut this one down. And we'll see you for the next one.